I am so excited though for Cybertruck. It has been such an amazing vehicle. The center screen and everything you can do on it is simply amazing. It's the biggest center screen of any Tesla at 18.5 inches, as well as a 9.4-inch touchscreen for the rear passengers. Everything about Cybertruck simply still amazes me. Hopefully you guys enjoy it though. We're gonna go ahead and do a deep dive into the center screen and all of the settings. So when you do pick up your Cybertruck, you will get a little packet similar to this, and inside are going to be your key cards. So we'll go ahead and get this open real quick. And here you will actually get 2 key cards as seen here. And what you can do is on the back, it'll actually show you exactly where to do it. You can go ahead and tap it on the B pillar and that will lock and unlock your vehicle. And then to put it into drive, you will just put it on the right side of the Qi chargers here, and that will allow it to be recognized. So when it is here, you'll actually see it come up right here. Right now it's listed as an unknown key, but you can actually change that to say key card 1 and key card 2. I would always recommend you go ahead and keep one of these in your wallet just in case, but the phone is going to be your primary key for the Cybertruck. And before we get started, you'll notice that this screen does not really show any reflection or glares. And that is because we actually installed the PPF screen guard for Cybertruck. The matte version from Abstract Ocean. It really helps cut down any glares. Now, this is paint protection film. We do have the glass version coming. However, we are still perfecting everything for both the front and the rear. But if you actually buy this PPF version, you do get a $20 off coupon for the glass version when it comes in stock. So it's super easy to install, and as you can see, it gets rid of all those glares, all that annoying stuff that comes with a gloss screen. So I definitely recommend this. And using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase at abstractocean.com. To get into the Cybertruck is completely different than any other Tesla. So you can probably imagine, right here you have a little button that will open the rear door. Right here you have this big button that will open the front door. So you just push really hard right there, it'll pop out. Now you can actually grab it anywhere along here. Recommended is though right here, it's probably the safest spot. And there's actually a little device right there, so you can't close it until you pull it out a little bit, and that's so that you don't pinch your fingers. So then you can go ahead and open it right there. Now that is that pin that extends, that prevents you from closing it until you pull it out a little bit to make sure you don't pinch any fingers. And then you're good to just get right into this gorgeous cabin right here and see Cybertruck in all its glory. So today I want to just go over all the settings here. I know there's a lot to it. Now if you're familiar with the Model 3 or the Model Y or even the S and X, this will be pretty familiar to you. However, there's a lot of new things, as well as just an overall new look, being that this is for the Cybertruck and not any of the other vehicles. So things are a lot more blocky and squared off. So on this main view right here, you'll be able to see up top whether or not you have your headlights on, whether or not you have automatic high beams on, as well as seat belt. So right now you can see it says I'm not seat belted. If I go ahead and click it, that will go ahead and disappear. And I actually have it on beta to get in and out of drive. So I actually have that on, and that's what we can do there. A little bit more on that later. Up top you have park, reverse, neutral, drive. Next up you're gonna have your battery, look, and this is gonna be in bars. And then right here you have your estimated range. But if you actually click on that, it will change to percentage, and you can change it whenever you want. You're gonna have lock in the middle here, which you can tap to unlock or lock the vehicle. You're gonna have your profile here, in which you can press to sync other ones. However, if they do have a phone key or key card, you can actually link those to the profile. Next up, you're gonna have LTE, and so that's already there, and then you can actually hook it up to Wi-Fi. Definitely recommend doing that once you bring your Cybertruck home, so that way you can get all your automatic over-the-air updates. And then you're gonna have this little circle, and that's actually going to be your Sentry mode. So right now the vehicle's unlocked, so it's not on. But if I walk away and lock the vehicle, it'll turn red, or you can just tap it if you're sitting in the vehicle. Next up here, you have a little preview of your map. Here you have your media source when you have one connected, whether it be Bluetooth or you can do streaming services. Here you have your drives, and this is going to tell you since your last charge, your current drive, your odometer, etc. And here you're going to have your real-time PSI, the real-time height of the tip top of your vehicle, as well as your estimated ground clearance, which is really nice to have. And then here you're going to have your navigation. You can press to navigate anywhere you want, or you can enter in your home and work and just tap those, which is really great. And then other things here, you do have your ride height, which you can click and change that right here if you desire. You also have your frunk right here, your tonneau, and your tailgate that you can open, as well as your little charge port door. Now, if you slide this over, you'll go ahead and get like the old style 3-in-Y view. This is going to give you all of your maps, navigations. Here you can do whether you want north up, whether you want heading up. And if you tap on it, you'll be able to all kinds of settings here. So here you can actually do the satellite view, which I absolutely love. Here you can do your traffic. Here you can do your points of interest. And then here you'll be able to see all your superchargers within range. And then everything on the screen are charges, or this way. Everything on the screen are chargers that you can hit to with your current state of charge. You can see the other ones, but they will be grayed out because you can't technically hit those with your current range here. Other things here, when you do hit navigate, you can type in whatever you want. You have a list of suggestions. You have your favorites, charging, whether or not you're hungry. It'll do random restaurants. It's actually kind of cool. It's a good way to like find other, like, not necessarily hole in the wall restaurants, but some that you might not have normally gone to. And then feeling lucky is another thing here you can do. And this will just bring you some different things going on in the area. So there's Lair of the Bear, a park, there's Meow Wolf Denver, some parks, some Molly Brown House, local Denver tours. It's kind of fun actually. You can play around with that a little bit more. And then along the bottom here, you will have your main settings down here. You're gonna have your temperature, all that down here. I have my heated seat, Bluetooth, etc. But you can actually change a lot of these. And then you will have the heated seat and air functionality if someone is in the passenger seat. Since no one is there right now, it is not there. But if you long press on any of these, you have your recent apps that you've recently gone to and your My Apps. My Apps will always be there. So you can drag however you want everything. Right now I have the heated seat. If I really wanted to, I could drag the heated steering wheel to always be in there, and climate to always be in there. And it will just kind of like widen that. I don't know. I guess you get 5 My Apps. But normally I just like to keep my Bluetooth, my camera, and then my trips right here. And then these are just recent ones I've gone through, but we'll go ahead and go through those in a few minutes. Let's go ahead and start with the air. So you can just tap it to turn it on, or long press and you'll kind of see a little glimpse and that will turn it off. And then once on, you can either swipe up or press it again and it will give you some more options. So you can turn it off here, you can change it from auto, and then you can adjust how everything you want, although I find auto to be really great. You can adjust the rear here. You can do your heated seats here. You can do scheduled. You can change it from low, medium, high. You have bioweapon defense mode, which we absolutely love. You have auto heated steering wheel, definitely keep that on. You have your heated mirror, your wiper, your windshield, as well as your heated seat here again. So, and if you turn it off, it will just disappear. Now going into your main settings menu, this is gonna be where pretty much everything is. And unfortunately, you can't make it any bigger. This is about as big as it's ever gonna get. Couple things here. Again, your profile, Bluetooth, definitely hook up your phone if you haven't, so that way you can use it as a lock. And here you're gonna have link to MyQ account. There is no home link, so keep that in mind. This is the only way you can actually control a garage door or anything. Your LTV again, and then any active alerts, should there be any. If you wanna search your Cybertruck settings, you can do so right here at this top bar. You just select that, type in whatever you want. There will be some highlighted features there. So under main controls, you have like your fold mirrors, your ride height, which you can select your tonneau, whether you want it open or closed, and then its current state right here. Now I wish those would be a little bit brighter. Having the light or like a medium gray on a dark gray, it's not exactly the easiest to see. You can drop your tailgate here, but remember you will have to manually close that. If you want to adjust your mirrors, you press that and you can do your left and right with that scroll wheel. I would always suggest having auto tilt, auto fold, and auto dim on, and then you can change it however you want. Same thing with your steering wheel. You'll hit that and you'll adjust it with your left scroll wheel. Car wash mode, if you use that. If you need neutral, you'll press and hold this. Sentry mode, you can turn that on or off. A little bit more on that later. You can tap this and it will actively download that 10-minute clip and save it. Child lock, if you want that. Window locks, I have that on so none of my passengers in the rear play with the windows. Headlights, I would definitely recommend on auto, but you can put it on parking or off if you want. Your screen brightness, you can adjust that here, and then as well as your glove box. You just tap to open that and boom, tap to close it. So cool. So this is going to be the main screen that you can do things on. Next up, we're going to have dynamic. So this is going to be things like your drive mode, acceleration, ride handling, preferred ride height, etc. So a couple things here to note. One, if you go into comfort, that is going to preset your acceleration, ride handling, and ride height. One, it's going to put you in chill, which nobody really likes. Relaxed ride and handling is great. Preferred ride height is higher. I don't like that. This is going to give you standard acceleration, focus ride handling, preferred ride height lower. This is pretty cool. But I actually do a custom. I do standard acceleration, relaxed ride and handling, and preferred ride height of lower. This is my preference. Play around with whatever works for you, but this is what I like. I like acceleration being standard. It's a little faster. Ride and handling, I prefer to be relaxed. It's a little bit more comfortable to drive. And then I prefer a lower ride height because that's actually going to be more efficient than a higher ride height. And then off-road, should you decide to do that, you can read through this disclaimer, hit confirm, and then you can see we are starting to raise and lower. And then I had a lot of people ask how I got my vitals here, my actual measurements. And if you click right here, you can actually see everything. You just have to click the vitals. And that will tell you your front and rear motor temperature, your battery temperature, your ride height at every single wheel, which will vary slightly if you are on a hill or whatever. But in off-road mode, you can do overland or Baja. So overland is to optimize traction for most OHV and rock crawling trails, and use Baja for more dynamic driving. Baja is really fun. Terrain, all-purpose sand, gravel, and rock. So this optimizes traction control by adjusting wheel slip to the terrain. Selecting rock raises the default ride height to very high. And then stopping mode, whether you want it hold or roll. Hold, if you take your foot off of the brake, you will not move, whereas roll, you will slightly creep forward or back, depending on what gear you're in. Trail assist is a feature coming soon. And then wade mode raises your ride height and pressurizes your battery when driving through shallow water. I have not experienced that yet, but I really like custom. It works out really well for me. Play around with it though. Next is a setting to apply brakes when regenerative braking is limited. So when your battery is very full, regenerative braking is going to be limited. This will apply the brakes in those cases. It's nice to have. And then just FYI, if it's grayed out, it's not selected. If it's blue, it's selected. And you'll start seeing these check marks up here as I play around with stuff. That's saving it to the profile so that you don't have to keep messing with it. Once you set it, you can forget it. Auto shift out of park. So when parked, it will automatically shift into drive or reverse when doors are closed, your seatbelt is buckled, and the brake pedal is pressed, like I showed you a little bit earlier. That is a really cool feature. Just always glance at what it did decide for you to make sure it's the right direction you want to go. It is still in beta. Auto lower is going to lower the suspension when parked for easy entry. Being a truck that's pretty high, that really helps a lot of passengers as well as myself. Next up, towing and hauling. You're going to have trailer mode, so you can select that, and then you can tap to enable and everything here. We're going to undo that though, but you can adjust your gain, your brake boost. So your right scroll wheel could be your trailer brake, which is actually pretty nice. Your adaptive regenerative braking automatically increases your regenerative braking to provide more stopping power based on the estimated weight of the trailer and cargo, as well as your trailer alarm, and you can do your light test to make sure everything is hooked up properly, which is really nice. Next up, we're going to have charging. This is where you're going to want to set your daily limit, everything like that. So currently I set my daily limit to 80%. I'm happy with that. I don't need more than that. Now, if you ever need more, by all means do it, but 80%, maybe even 70% is going to be your sweet spot for battery longevity. Here you can open your charge port. You can adjust your current at this location in case there's some times where you need to go less than 48 volts. Other things you can do is you can do scheduled departure or you can do scheduled charging. Scheduled departure at this location will make it so at the time you select, the charging will be done to whatever your limit is set to. Scheduled charging means it will start charging at a set time and then it will charge that way until you either unplug or it is at that charge limit. Down below, you're going to have your last paid charging session. So you can see I last charged in Lyman, Colorado. And then you do have supercharging tips. Please look at this before you do a lot of supercharging. And not only will it help make sure you can charge the fastest, but also others as well. Outlets and mods, this is a cool one. You have so many cool things with Cybertruck. No other Tesla has this. So you actually have outlets in the center console, both inside of it as well as the rear of it, and the bed of the truck. So you can actually turn those on with a flip of the switch, and it will tell you what the kilowatt draw is from that. You have a power feed in the roof. So for light bars, etc., you can turn that on and off, as well as one in the frunk, which I've actually tapped into, video on that coming soon. But you have all those and you can turn them on and off as you wish. But remember, all outlets will turn off when the vehicle charge drops below 5%. Other things here, you can enable cabin outlets on entry. This may consume power even if not in use. And normally I have that checked in case anyone wants to charge anything, but since I'm not doing any road trips right now, I've been keeping it unchecked. And then keep on cabin and bed outlets, they'll remain on for 12 hours. This is really nice if you are sleeping in the car or camping and you want those powered. Next up, we're gonna have Autopilot. So this is gonna be things like full self-driving, etc. However, Tesla Cybertruck is brand new and it is not currently active. But you do have traffic-aware cruise control, so that will modulate your speed. There is no lane keep assist yet. We're still waiting for that. You can adjust your follow distance to whatever you want, and you can see it saving that up here. Full self-driving beta is not available. It says it will be available in an upcoming software release. Traffic light and stop sign control, you can stop and read that if you would really like. It will also slow down at stop signs and traffic lights, etc., and then go when it's green. It's really a nice feature. I would recommend it. Set speed when you engage Autopilot to do the speed limit or whatever current speed you're driving. I normally just do speed limit. But I also do an offset. So you can do a fixed or percentage offset from the speed limit. I do plus 8%, but you can also do a fixed offset. So a fixed offset would be like 2 miles per hour over the speed limits. You can do that however you wish. I like a percentage because it tends to be less at lower speeds, a little bit more at higher speeds. It makes me feel a little bit better. Speed limit warning. If you go over the speed limit, you can do a display which will kind of make the speed sign right here and enlarge a little bit. Or you can have it chime. I find both those very annoying. I leave them off, but if you want them, they're there. And then if you do this, you'll get an additional setting, whether or not you want it to be relative or absolute of an offset above that speed limit. Forward collision warning, this will chime at you if it feels that you are going to get in an accident. And you can turn this off, which is highly unadvisable. You can turn it to late, medium, or early. Early and medium are definitely probably the best ones there. It's always better to be notified of something and not have an issue than not be notified because you turn it off and then have an issue. Lane departure avoidance. So right now, because FSD beta is not available, this is only a warning. And this, if it senses you going out of the lane, it will get your attention to tell you that you are departing your lane. Now, when FSD beta is in, it will actually bump you into your lane. So hopefully that gets brought soon. Other things here, you have automatic emergency braking. You have obstacle aware acceleration. This is gonna try to detect if something's in front of your car and you slam on the accelerator and drive, it should prevent that. Traffic aware cruise control chime. So when you do put it in cruise, it will do a little ding. And the green traffic light chime, it will actually do a little ding if you are at a red light and it senses that light has since turned green. Next up, you have locks. Kind of showed this a little bit earlier. This is where you can recognize keys. So if I put this key back here, that's where that key card is. You can see all your phones You can do other key cards. You can add a bunch of stuff. I mean, you can also add key, and you actually do this through the app. It's very intuitive. It takes about 2 seconds. Absolutely love it. We will have another video on the app coming soon. Child locks, whether or not you want those on, you can turn them on the left side of the vehicle, the right side, or both. Here you do have a window lock, so you can do that. I already talked about that as under the control screen, but I do keep that on. Walk away door lock. So this is basically if you walk away from the vehicle and it's connected to your phone, it will lock the vehicle. And here you do have the option to exclude your home address, which you can put in the navigation and indicate as your home. You do have the option for driver door unlock mode. This, when enabled, the driver door and charge port will unlock when the key is detected near the driver's side of the vehicle. Holding down the interior driver door button will unlock the rest of the vehicle. So if it's normally only you getting in and out of the vehicle, you can turn this on to prevent somebody else from trying to jump into your vehicle. Unlock on park. Whenever you put your vehicle in park, it will unlock. Car left open notifications. I would always recommend having this on. You can turn it off, but you can turn it on for doors or doors and windows, and it will actually let you know if you left a door open or a window open and have walked away. I do exclude the home because since I park in a garage, sometimes I'm playing with different things and will leave something open, or I'll leave a window open in the garage if I got like pizza or fast food so that it doesn't stink up the car. You can also close windows on lock, so I do that as well. Here, if you want to connect to the MyQ account, you can link this and you will get that QR code right there and you can scan it, get access to it like that. Next up, we have lights. So again, you have some duplicated settings here as the main control, but you have your headlights on, off, parking, or auto, your auto turn signals. So you can turn this off, but if you turn it on and you turn on your turn signal, as soon as you are done with that lane change, it will auto turn it off. It's a really great feature, highly suggest that. Auto high beam and headlights after exit, both very good things to keep on, doesn't really hurt anything. You have your bed lights, so this is going to be things in your truck bed. You can turn them on for auto, they'll be on when the bed opens and then adjust the brightness. Next up, you have accent lights. So you have a bunch of accent lights throughout this entire cabin. You can turn them on, off, or auto. I keep them in auto, turns them on at night. It's really kind of nice, and you can actually adjust it to any single color you want. I am particular to the red, which you can kind of see a little bit of it right here and right there, but the blue also looks very, very sleek, so we're actually going to put it in blue. Your dome lights you can turn to on, off, or auto, as well as your footwell lights on or off. Next up, we have display. So here you can go into light mode, which is awfully blinding, dark mode, or auto. I just keep it in dark mode all the time. I keep all my phone apps in dark mode. It is the way. Next up, you can reduce blue light. So this is going to do warmer colors at night. So if you do that, unfortunately, it's not really nighttime yet, but it will change to more of a yellowish hue. The Cybertruck logo introduction, when the display powers on, when you get in the vehicle, it will actually show Cybertruck logo and then turn on to the screen. You can adjust the brightness of this display. So again, I normally just keep this always in auto and let it do its own thing. Next up, you have your rear view camera. So that's going to put the rear view camera right here when you're in drive. I would always keep that in auto, but you can also adjust it on your steering wheel should you need to. Automatic blind spot camera, so this will show the side repeater when your turn signal's engaged, like so. I would always keep that on as well. So screen clean mode, so you want to clean your screen with the Abstract Ocean screen cleaner. You can go ahead and select that, and it will make it so that no presses will activate anything. You can spray it, you can go ahead and wipe it, get it all nice and clean. Now this actually has the matte screen guard from Abstract Ocean until the glass version is perfected, and then we will upgrade to that. Here you can lock the rear display should you have anybody back there that you just don't want to use it or play around with it. And then you have your main things, whether you want 24 or 12-hour time, whether you want to see your energy display in distance or percentage, but again, you can just click that to change it. Your distance, depending on where you live, your temperature, as well as your tire pressure. Next up, you're going to have your trips. So this is going to show you your current drive since last charge. You have 2 resettable trips and then your complete odometer, or almost up to 5,000 miles on this Cybertruck. Then you're going to have your navigation. This is going to give you your navigation volume, whether or not it's muted. You can click that if you prefer to use HOV lanes. Automatic navigation, so it will automatically route you home, work, or your next calendar invite upon entry to the vehicle. Works very, very well. I use that all the time. Trip planner adds supercharger stops if necessary. Definitely keep that checked. Online routing finds the optimal route based on traffic conditions. Again, no reason to not keep that checked. Now, I do reroute if it'll save me 5 minutes. If you bump it down to like 1 minute, sometimes it'll put you on a lot of little side streets to try to really speed you up. So I like 5 minutes, but you can go up to 30 minutes if necessary. And then I check to avoid tolls. I did not check avoid ferries, but there are no ferries in Colorado. So I guess we'll just check it. Next up, you have safety. So a couple big things here. Sentry mode, always keep that on. That will be enabled when you leave the car. And if it senses anything, anybody gets too close to it, it will record that clip. So if there is any damage, you have proof of that. Now, again, I exclude home because I park in a garage and have a ton of cameras around, but you could exclude work or other favorites if you feel safe at those locations. Next up, camera-based detection. That will work with Sentry mode and use the cameras to basically detect if there's a security event while parked. Disable Sentry sound. So I don't disable it because if someone does break a window or something, it will scream at them and I want that to happen. And then live view via the app. I keep that checked. Now, if you don't want people to be able to live view through the app, you can uncheck that. Dash cam. So you actually have a permanent dash cam built into your Cybertruck. Here you can turn it off, manual, auto, or on honk. I keep it on auto, but also if I honk, it will save that clip. Here you can also delete your dash cam clips and format your USB drive if you want. Now, doing either one of these will erase what's on there, so be very careful. Rear view camera, again, so I do keep this on auto. And that way it will show the rear view from the camera in the back when the tonneau cover is closed. Next up, we have automatic blind spot. So this will show the side repeater camera when the turn signal is engaged. Blind spot collision warning chime. If it senses you're going to hit somebody, it will actually chime with you. And the blind spot warning light, this is actually in your A-pillar right inside that little grill right there. It will actually have a red light too. It's very, very nice feature. If you want to allow mobile access to your vehicle, you can keep that checked. Here you can do a pin to drive. That way, when you get into your vehicle, it will put a number pad somewhere on the screen and you have to type in a pin that you designate to be able to put the vehicle in drive. This is great if you have teens or someone in the house that potentially has access to the car and the key, but you don't want to drive it. And then you can actually do a pin for your glove box, which I would actually recommend. I haven't done it yet, but I would recommend that because that is where your Sentry mode USB stick is saved. So that will actually help protect it so that somebody can't come in and steal that. You can actually limit the top speed of the vehicle. Again, say you have a teenager or a friend driving the vehicle that you don't want to go too fast. You can limit that right there. Automatic 911 calls. So that will be after airbags deploy, but it does require that your phone is connected via Bluetooth for phone calls. Again, though, a great feature to keep. Security alarm is always on, and then Joe mode. So that will actually reduce the volume of your car's chimes, and the quieter chime continues to alert the driver effectively, but minimize disruption to passengers, especially in the rear seats. And this was, I guess, asked for by someone named Joe for his kids, and they effectively named it Joe mode. Your parking brake, should you ever need to do that, but your foot must be on the brake pedal to enable. And if you ever need to power off the vehicle for anything, it is right there. Next up, we have service mode. So this is going to give you your recommended tire pressure, your last red tire pressure, which was 18 minutes ago. Next up, you have your tire service mileage. This is a new feature that says approximately 5,000 miles ago, the tires were rotated. You can reset this, and you can also see that it recommends every 6,200 miles to rotate your tires to ensure an even tread wear. Other things here, you have the owner's manual car wash mode. Again, adjust your headlights, which I've never had to do. You have towing right here if you need your vehicle towed. Always flatbed. Do not allow anyone to pick it up like that. You have notifications, removed saved locations, camera preview. This is kind of cool. So you can actually select your cameras. Oh, there's us. And you can check them all out. Camera calibration, driver seat, steering and mirror calibration, clear your browsing data, factory reset your car, and jack mode. Jack mode is going to be like if you're changing a tire, it'll make it so the air suspension doesn't try to keep leveling you out. And factory reset, basically if you're selling your Tesla, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to have to input your Tesla credentials to be able to do so, so keep that in mind. Next up we have software, so this is going to give us a little bit about the truck. I can't believe I haven't named the truck yet. Wow, this is like something you should always do. Let's do Cybertruck. Boom. It will list your Cybertruck, your Foundation series or whatever, your mileage, your VIN, your Autopilot computer, whether or not you bought full self-driving, premium connectivity. Nice thing with Foundation series is that is included for life. It's actually 8 years though, fun fact. Your software, your navigation data, your software update preference. So this is one thing, I would always select advanced. That way you get the most recent software ASAP. And then your privacy, whether or not you want data sharing or cabin camera down here. Next up, we'll go into Wi-Fi. Again, you'll be able to get to this setting also by clicking on the LTE Wi-Fi up there. So another way to get to that. Bluetooth, again, you can just click the Bluetooth icon up here to get to this. And then any upgrades. So there's no upgrades for this because it is a Foundation series. Everything is already included. So that kind of goes over all of this. So now let's start talking about all of your applications here. So clicking these 3 dots right here will bring up the menu. And again, here you will always have these up here. So your front defrost, your left seat, heated, etc. And if you have a passenger in the right seat, those will come up as well. Here you have your rear screen. This is kind of like a little emulator of what it looks like. You can change your audio source to the rear if you want. You can lock the rear display. You can pretty much play around with everything and emulate that rear display right here. So we can just go over that right now as well. If you turn this on, you can actually change the airflow in 3 different ways for the 3 different passengers back there. It's a great, very cool feature. As well as change it if you want it to be more forward or however you want that to be. You can change your fan speed here by the 3 dots. Here you have the heated seat functionality. It's weird though, no heated seat in their middle right there. So I don't understand that. Yes, it does have an armrest that folds out, but so does Model S and it's still heated. So I have a problem with that, but whatever. Go ahead and turn that off. Here you have the audio for the rear. You can watch Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, or Twitch on the rear screen. And then some settings, which is kind of a new thing. You can actually hook up Bluetooth devices to that rear screen. So passengers in the back can watch YouTube via Bluetooth headphones while I'm listening to a podcast or music up here. Keep it completely separate. It's a great feature. You can adjust your screen brightness and also put it into a screen clean mode as well. So it's very cool that you can just emulate that rear screen right here. And then adjust volume. Other things you have, you can click this to bring up your navigation, but honestly, it should always be there anyway. Your camera, which I keep here. So you do have a front sprayer and you can actually activate it by doing that and it will spray some windshield washer fluid there for you. And then you have your left and right side repeater camera. Now you can always swipe up and down and now it will bring up your rear camera or your front camera, and you can go in between the two depending on where you are. Now, if you are going in reverse, it will bring up your rear if you press this icon. If you are going forward, it will bring up your front camera if you press this icon. Next up, you have your dash cam. This is going to be all your saved clips, anything like that. So we can see here, if we click on this, you have all Sentry dash cam, and you can kind of like go towards where the action was and see what it was. Here you have your energy graph too. I keep that as my always on, so that way I can kind of see based on my trip how I am doing. You can go by trip or by rated. Honestly, trip is going to be the best thing, so always just navigate to where you're going. So it's mainly used for like road trips, to be honest, but it'll tell you how many miles you consumed, how many miles were from driving, from your climate, from your battery conditioning, from your elevation, and everything else. It's so much information here. I absolutely love this. Other things here, you have your phone. Now you would have to connect to your phone via Bluetooth. I actually disconnected it for this video so I didn't get any calls or anything like that through here, but you can do that here. You can adjust your contacts, favorites, etc. once you're connected. Other things, your calendar, once you're connected to your phone via Bluetooth, you can adjust anything there. Messages, should you decide to do that. I don't have messages sent through the car. I don't really use messages all that much. I mainly use like WhatsApp and other messaging apps, not text messaging. Here you have your theater. So in the front, you can watch Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, all full screen. So for example, let's go to YouTube. And then let's see some of these videos. Lamar just took delivery of his Cybertruck. Picked it up after being repaired. But you can actually take this and put it full screen, especially if you're supercharging. It's such a nice feature. We're going to give him a like, and we're going to watch this video a little later. But yeah, it's very cool you can do all this. Now, if there's something that you want to watch that's not listed here, you can actually go to abettertheater.com in the web browser and get a lot of cool things through them as well. You actually have an arcade here, so you can play any of these games right here. Fallout, that's actually the video series we're watching. Now, you don't have Steam, at least not yet. Doesn't look like Cybertruck will ever get Steam at this point. I don't know. TBD. You also have Toy Box, so you can do Boombox. This will use your car's external speaker. That's kind of fun. You can do the light show, fart, emissions. You can make beats with tracks. Romance mode will put a fire on here, bump up the heat a little bit, and play some soothing music. You can sketch. I'm terrible at art, so I'm not going to attempt that. Then you can actually do Mars, which will make this have like a red hue, and you will no longer be able to see streets or anything because you're on Mars. It says you're on Mars. They can't lie. So that's actually kind of fun sometimes. Next up, you have your web browser, like I mentioned, a better theater, whatever. You can also have favorites. So if you click this, we do a better route planner a lot, and so we added them as a favorite. But you can also do a better theater right here. And I mean, it's actually pretty quick. So you can see a bunch of different things here. Abettertheater.com. You can watch all of this like full screen and everything. So it's actually kind of cool. Check it out if you wish. Not sponsored, but I have used it a few times. Next up, you have your owner's manual here. You can also check your last release notes here or under the software settings. So that's kind of cool. You can also do it in your phone, fun fact. But you can literally look up everything here. So, I mean, if you have any questions, by all means, please do so there. Next up, you have Spotify. So you can log into your Spotify with that QR code, be able to listen to it. I have Bluetooth and streaming. Now, if I go to my media source, which is right here, which is a fun thing, you can push it down or up, and then you have your little cards right here. So if I click on these three little bars right here, this will give you access to your audio settings. You can adjust this however you want. Your balance, whether or not you want all the sound for the driver, which we've actually found helpful when we're listening to podcasts. David and I are road tripping. I'll actually do this because I like it a little bit louder for me, but he doesn't need it as loud, so I like it on here. But I mean, if you got kids, you can put Baby Shark in the back all you want. Your options here, DJ commentary, I've never found that to be useful, so I keep it unchecked. Explicit content, if you don't mind cursing, etc. and allow mobile control. You can actually skip songs, etc. through the app. And then sources, this is cool. So here you can hide or show media sources. So as you can see, I turned off the radio, car karaoke, TuneIn, Tidal, Apple Music, and Apple Podcasts because I just don't use those. I only use Bluetooth, streaming, or Spotify. So those are the only ones I kept on. But you can turn any of these on or off that you want, and then that icon will show up right here. So I actually like how they give me the ability to hide what I'll never use because there's no point in me ever having to see it. And then that is basically the orientation for the Tesla Cybertruck. Now again, this is the current state. With future software updates, things might change a little bit, but that is how it currently sits. So on the steering wheel real quick, because we did reference that, you have your turn signals right here, whether it be right or left. You have your headlights, just keep them in auto to be honest. Now this actually relates to the functionality of this, which I have for audio. And then here, this will relate to Autopilot or adaptive cruise control right here. Then this is for voice controls. Voice controls are really great. Use them as much as possible, I promise. And then this right here is going to be for your windshield wiper. Now I would recommend keeping it in auto. I just turned it off because I'm filming and I didn't want it to be in the background going a bunch, but it is starting to rain. So I would just keep it in auto. And then this is going to be for your camera. So when you are driving, you can press this. So let me actually go ahead and put it into drive so you can see how that looks. So when you are driving, you have that rear camera right there. It's because when you have the tonneau closed, you can't see anything out that back window because that's the bed. So that keeps it there. But when you do press this button at low speeds, it will put on your front or rear camera depending on if you're going in reverse or drive. And that really helps when pulling into a parking spot. So I find that to be extremely useful. And last but certainly not least, this is actually a horn on the steering wheel right here, so you can press this. There's not a horn button, it is just that center right there. And one other really cool thing, besides the steering wheel having some physical buttons and maybe a few on the door, there's really not any. Now, should this screen ever die, Tesla does have a backup, and it's actually right there. So right now you can see that red hazard right there. Now if you press right here, the car will audio beep, and then you can actually push any of these to be able to change gears. Now this is a secondary gear selector. It's always best to choose the one on the screen. So when you do this, you can swipe up to go drive, swipe down to go reverse, or tap to go into park. But if ever need be, you do have these as your secondary option, but they're just all touch. So with the foot on the brake, we can put it into whatever we need right there. Even the light right there is like capacitive. Like it's not like a physical button. So really cool cabin in here, not gonna lie. And yeah, no rear view mirror, we removed that pretty quick. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything extra you want to know about, definitely leave it down below in a comment and we will do our best to help answer those. Again though, there's so many things that you can control through this screen. It's actually mind-blowing. As always though, huge thanks to our channel sponsor, Abstract Ocean. If you are looking to accessorize your Tesla Model S, X, 3Y, and Cybertruck, and now Rivian, definitely check them out. All linked down below, and using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase. A lot of really cool accessories to really create your car your own, as well as protect it. As always though, a thumbs up if you enjoyed that video. Go and click here to subscribe, here for some other ones, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.